and we'll start where I always have to start. Fortunately, unfortunately, whatever. I love to get other people's perspectives on the Cowboys, Peter, because I lived it for too long.
I
I'm way
know.
too close to it. My vision is a little bit skewed when it comes to this team. So it does feel like the sky is falling in Dallas a little bit after that performance against the Saints. What's your more macro view of what the hell's going on with these guys?
Last week must have been conflicting for you with Saints
Oh,
Cowboys. We
it's
didn't talk
it's
beforehand, but
always a nightmare when the Saints
that's
play the
gotta
Cowboys.
be. We work for Fox. Cowboys are a big team on Fox. We always like to highlight Fox, but when you put the spectacle of these things going on before the game, I'm at the Fox pregame show and I'm standing there and it's 11 a.m. Eastern. The game doesn't kick off till 1, and I'm looking at one of the small monitors and it's Mike Tyson, it's a Paul brother,
Yeah.
it's Tom Brady, it's Charlotte, it's Steven, it's
Yeah.
Jerry, and then there's this other visual of the door busting. They open up the doors and it's a million Cowboys fans rushing to their seat. It's like this is a spectacle. And then you give up 6 touchdowns on 6 consecutive possessions. And I think we're doing this on Wednesday. I think Alvin Kamara or Raheem Shaheed just scored another touchdown. They might as well. Like,
They did.
it was
Yeah,
as
they did.
bad a homecoming or as bad as a home opener as you could have imagined. And it came with all that hoopla. So if you're not a Cowboys person and you're watching from the outside, your immediate thought is, oh, it's the same old Cowboys. It's the same crap. It's a lot of bells and whistles, and they're going to win 9, 10 games, maybe 11 or 12, and they'll host a playoff game and they'll likely lose, because when we do all this stuff, it's more about the Brady's on the field and we're posting on Instagram. And then it is, all right, the Saints team just kicked the crap out of the Carolina Panthers. Do we have a defensive game plan? Like, one thing might not be related to the other, but from the outside looking in, it's like egg on your face. Like, here we go. We're celebrating the Cowboys, but sure enough, the Cowboys are broken. And like, I, Zim really shut a lot of people up week 1 against
Mhm.
Cleveland. But there were a lot of doubters going into this thing saying that Zimmer hasn't coached in 2 years. His defense, we'll see how it goes. Like, maybe he unlocks a bunch of other young players besides Micah, but they have to really fix this thing quick, because what Lamar and Derrick Henry and what Todd Monken have in store is a running attack and a play action and a run pass option attack that has given some really good defensive coaches fits over the last few years. I am shocked at what happened against New Orleans defensively, and I am curious to see if that was a one-time deal or if that's what these Cowboys fans are going to see again this weekend, which I hope we're not doing a circus beforehand.
Can I offer you my hot take on the Cowboys? Which
Yeah.
the defense is why they lost that game. They gave up touchdowns on their first 6 possessions. It was atrocious. If you're even trying to talk about Dak in the aftermath of that game, what are we doing? But I still come out of it. I think I'm more concerned about the offense than I am about the defense.
Talk
Because like
about it.
we've seen the Dallas defense do this. Like, they're gonna crap the bed a couple times a year. I don't trust the run defense, but like I do trust Mike Zimmer to make it look better than it did on
Mm-hmm.
Sunday. Then I look at the Dallas offense and like Dak's under pressure a ton. You're starting 2 rookies up front. The running back room has combined for one explosive run in 2 games. Jake Ferguson's dealing with an injury, and it looked like an offense that only has one good player in CeeDee Lamb, and that's what it is. Like, their only meaningful gain of week 2 was CeeDee Lamb taking a perfect pass
And
and
going.
making 2 guys miss and going to the house. Like, I don't know. This doesn't feel sustainable. And I think Dallas is only as good as their ability to score 24 plus points a week. And I don't know. It's early in the season to be panicking, but I did not like what I saw.
I ask you, like, do you envision like a game in late December and it's Zeke Elliott toting the rock
I
and
don't.
it's Brandon Cooks as the number 2? Like, this is a long season, and those guys are not young. Like,
No.
it's daunting when you look at that roster and just how many unknown factors there are besides Dak and CeeDee on offense.
we're not trying to completely ignore the Ravens. I mean, they haven't started 0-2 since 2015, so
Wow.
truly in uncharted territory in the Lamar Jackson era. Uh, but at the same time, like I can't bring myself to be worried. I mean, I would love for the Ravens to stop blowing fourth quarter leads. They've done it 5 times in the last 3 seasons. But at the same, like I don't know. I need to see more before I'm overly worried. I do trust Lamar. I trust John Harbaugh. It's a small sample size, but this team still seems fine to me. What do you think?
Well, at some point, that is more than a coincidence. No team in the NFL has given up more 10-point fourth quarter lead since 2021 than the Ravens. No team in the NFL has given up more 7-point fourth quarter lead since 2021 than the Baltimore Ravens. And it happened again. Like it's like the Grim Reaper just comes out there when they're taking a big lead against a team that they should beat. They should beat the Raiders. Raiders have Gardner Minshew and a bunch of unknown players besides Devontae Adams on offense, and they
And
march
they
right up
looked
and down
like
the
they
field.
were going to with like 10
They had
minutes to
them.
play in this
They
game.
had him. They had him on the ropes, but it's not enough. And it was the same thing with the Browns last year. Same thing with the Colts the year before. Like they lose these games, and Harbaugh is supposed to be this is like masterful, clock management, special teams technician, and it happens too often. But I'm with you. Unless look, 0-3 is an insurmountable hole. Basically, you don't make the playoffs after 0-3. It's very rare. I think the
One team in
Jaguars.
the last 20 years.
Who was it? Was it the Jags or was it the
It was
Chargers? Like someone like that, right?
the 2018 Houston Texans did it.
Dang, I don't remember that team.
It
Honestly, I have
was
no
when
recollection.
it
Now I
was
know,
back when Deshaun Watson was him.
yeah, it was him. When the Chargers had Seau and Stan Humphries, I think they started off 0-4 and made it in like 94, 92. I think that's the one we always point to when you're 0-4, but you can't lose this one if you're the Ravens just because the AFC is too good and the AFC North is going to be too competitive. So yeah, I have a problem with them closing out games, but they lost by a toe in Arrowhead and they should have won last week against the Raiders. It's different than the Cowboys who showed some real reasons for concern last week.
Ravens a 1.5 point road favorite last time I checked, which is
Wow.
wild. When you think about how much the Cowboys have been winning home games by prior to their last 2 games,
Wow.
coincidentally. Yeah.